Hey friends, it has been a while, but I am back with a double page layout. Oh, life has been busy. I hope you're having a great summer, and hopefully I can get back on schedule here on YouTube. Today's layout is a collaboration. I'm a little late to the game, but hey, better late than never. So in our annual catalog, we have these sketches, these scrapbook templates down below. And don't mind the ink on my finger. I was having a printer difficulty. But we are on the third month. Every month, some crafty friends and I are getting together and creating these sketches. So this month, today, we are creating this sketch here. And this is a wonderful grid style. I love grids. You can fit a ton of pictures when creating grids. And today I am actually going to do a double page, so I'm going to stretch that sketch, and I'm going to do two different style grids. I'm going to mimic this one. I'm going to be changing it slightly for my companion page or my right side page, and then I want some bigger focal photos on my left-hand page along with my title. I think I'm actually going to do another row, a fourth row up on top here instead of that title or journaling spot. So I'll have like a 4x4 grid rather than a 3x4, if that makes sense. So when I print my photos, they print on a 4x6, so it prints like this, and then I cut them apart. So I actually have four 4x4s that are going on this side of my page, and then I did the white border. I printed it with a white border, and then I trimmed it. So my sizes are a little off. This one is about 3 3/4, and then my small photos are almost 2. They're just under 2 inches. But when I print them this small on my printer, they actually kind of get off on size, so they're not perfect, but I am going to make my grid perfect, and then some of them will just have a little different frame going around. So I want my 4 photos over here, and I'm actually getting this idea from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 6 sketchbook. This is an old Close to My Heart, no longer available, unfortunately. But they have this page here that I'm kind of mimicking, but I think I'm going to need room for a title, and I'm not sure how I'm going to want to embellish because of how I embellish on this side. So I'm going to do, and I'm not sure how exactly I want these. My husband's kind of looking that direction, so I wouldn't mind him. Maybe I do want it like that. Okay, and then over here, I think I counted 14 photos. So I did print these with like that, but then I printed a couple more just 2x2s. So I believe I counted 14 of the small ones. For my pattern papers, I'm going to bring in the Frames and Flowers Specialty Designer Series paper. This was a 12x12 collection, and I don't have very much left, but it is still available, so I'll have it linked down below. But these are the 2 bigger pieces that I have left. The back of this one is that peachy pink color with some little flowers. And then the back of this one is that beautiful teal. I think I'm going to bring some of that in, even though, I mean, it kind of brings out the silvers and blues in my pictures. But I just love this paper, and it kind of goes, it's not the same blue as the sky, but you know what? I like it, and so I'm going to bring it in. And then it has some browns here as well in the stems. So I might bring in some brown papers. I'll grab those in a minute. But this collection came with frames, hence the name Frames and Flowers. So we have some corner pieces. Let me move this out of the way so we can actually see what we have. So here's the name of that if you're interested. And then we have some actual frames and some curved pieces. We have some flowers and some sprigs. Really easy embellishment pieces. So I'm hoping this just makes the embellishing super quick and easy, and I don't have to sit and think too much. This one, I could do some stamping across here, or even use that as my title. My title doesn't have to be huge. I haven't even thought of my title yet. This is super cute. That's just slightly bigger than my photos. I could either frame a photo or I could use that. Okay, I think I'm going to use that one. We got some circles, more sprigs, super fun. And I don't know what these are. Oh, these were pocket cards that I had cut into. So I could even cut into those to fill in some of my grid. So I'm going to clear this all away. Oh, let me show you what other papers that I want to bring in. I have the Country Woods collection. This is also a 12 by 12 collection, double-sided. So we have some different wood grains. But there's this darker one here. And you know how I had mentioned some of the sprigs on that paper are brown? So I thought I could bring in some darker brown. That's not quite the right brown though. This is more black gray. This is more milky brown. But I have this one. And that ties in nice with that brown. I'm not sure if I have enough or big enough pieces. I think this is the same one. Yeah. So that's the back. Here's the other side. So I think I cut them 2 different directions. So I'll have to be careful how I piece it together. But anyways, those match pretty good. Let's see what else is in here and big enough. I'm liking this one the best with this paper. If you look at the sketch, they have 3 of the squares for journaling, it looks like. And then they have 2 points of embellishments, the little circles. So since I have more photos and I printed them rather small, I am going to extend it up, but then I am going to keep some open spots so that I can add my journaling as well like they did, and maybe some embellishments within the squares, since I'll have more open spots than just the 3, I think. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll have quite a few. So I'm going, my dog's playing with her toy back there. That's what that crinkling noise is. So I think I want to bring in some of this and some of that wood grain. And I had talked about bringing in, are we done? Okay, thank you. This one's a really big pattern. I might want that maybe behind one of my other photos, and then I for sure want to bring this one in. So I think what I'm going to do is just start cutting some mats for behind my photos. I already have the white frame, and then I'm not sure what other mats I want for behind, but I'm just going to start cutting into some of these papers. I might use some of the backs or maybe some of those pocket cards that I had already cut into, like these ones here. I'm not sure where I put the other ones, but I'll just start cutting a few of those. And my pictures really don't pop on the floral, so I'm leaning towards just sticking with the wood grain and maybe the blue. They really pop more on the blue. What if, or on the wood grain, I mean. What if I did some grays and silvers, or grays and, you know, as well. I might look in my stash, see if I have some gray, and bring that in too to bring out some of the gray in the buildings. This is close to my heart charcoal, and I think I'm going to use the light side of the charcoal. I like how it brings out the silver of some of the buildings. So now that we have our color palette picked out, let's get to cutting. Okay, I started laying my pictures out. So I cut that solid pattern paper, like the solid side of that, out. That's going to be one of them. I'm going to bring in some of the pink just since I have it in some of my flowers. And then I did charcoal and wood grain. And then I'm going to do the same for over here. So I'm going to do a pink one, charcoal, my wood grain, and when I glue this down, I'll make sure all my wood grain is going one direction so we don't have some going up and down, some across. We'll make sure it's the same across the board. And then for this last piece, I thought maybe I could frame my photos. So I cut the white to 10, and then I'm going to gut out the center of this so that I don't waste all of that pattern paper, and I can use that to map my next photo. So in case you're not familiar with cutting out the center, you do need a rail trimmer. And because I cut that white piece to 10 inches, I'm going to have an inch showing, plus I need room for glue. So I'm going to cut 1.5, which is right here. And then, so I went up 1.5, I'll go over to 1.5 here. And then on this side, I'll only cut to 10.5, leaving that 1.5 inch border. So again, we'll go up to that 1.5 on the rail trimmer over here. Now we'll start at 10.5 over here and go over to that 1.5. Rotate again, and we'll just keep doing that. Over to 10.5. And if it doesn't cut all the way through, you can just take your scissors and throw them on the ground and just carefully snip that. And it should just pop right out. All right, I'm getting there. I am going to rearrange these photos a little bit more. Like this one, my husband's kind of looking in, so I think this one would look best on the outside here. And then depending on what's in my photos, I may want to move them around. Like I don't think I want the blue house on the blue background, but I might want some, like this building, this silver building on the gray. Although then my husband kind of gets lost. So I might move them around like that, but that's the general idea. And then same with over here. And if I wanted to save even more paper, I could cut out the centers of all of these, since I'm just going to have that fine border going around. That would have saved a lot of paper. If I would have cut these out of the centers, I could have preserved that much more, but hindsight's 20/20. I might want to bring in some kind of frame or something over here. I could do like that and have my title, or even bring it down and do my title up top. And then I could bring in some more wood grain or something to kind of frame off the sides. I'm not sure what I would want to do to kind of finish off that side. Could bring in some more charcoal and mat this, but I am thinking I'll ink around all of my pattern pieces, and I might actually do that in like my mocha ink, which is a close to my heart color, but any brown would work. But if I use mocha, that would tie in kind of that milky brown into all of these papers. Over on this right hand side, I used my Secret Sea ink and the Weekend Adventure stamp to stamp Love This Place. We were kind of on a little adventure, a little more about these photos in a little bit, but we were on a little adventure, and so I thought Love This Place was perfect. And then I stamped some lines here using that same Secret Sea ink for my journaling. So I'll just write super small here on this journaling, and then I thought I wanted to bring in some of that orange, so I just grabbed one of those little embellishments for down here. And I might cut it off and have it kind of overlap more onto that. I'm not quite sure if I want it to tuck under here or not, so I might want to just keep it contained up there. And then this is one of those punch outs as well. So I kind of have that triangle going here, the 3 points of embellishing on that side. And then over on this side, I have these punch outs from the collection. So I thought I could bring those over to kind of bring that greenery and those colors over here. I do have some more of the flowers that would tie in. So I could bring those around also to kind of tie in the orange and bring that over. Then I was looking at the Weekend Adventure and saw the taking the scenic route, and that is exactly what we did. So we were on our way back home. Where were we? We stayed the night somewhere. I think we were coming back from visiting my family, and we decided to take the scenic route and visit my husband's grandpa's old farm. So it's vacant right now. It's still in the family, but we decided let's just spend the day. We have our van, we have some snacks, so we picnicked at grandpa's, and it was so fun. We went around and looked at the property, and we have permission. We're not trespassing. We're hanging out on the family farm. But yeah, it was just the three of us, and my dog was off leash, just loving life. I wish I could pick this one up, but she is such a little farm girl. She is so cute, and she was just running around exploring, and she really does love this place. We've gone back multiple times, and yeah, she is just in her element while she's there. But when I found this, I was like, how am I gonna put this? It's not big enough to do like an accent title here. I could push all of this up and do a little something here, but I feel like we need to grow the cluster. So then I started looking at some of my other punch outs that I have. Well, this is too small. So as I was flipping through that, I came across this one. And you guys, it fits perfectly in that. It's like it was made for it. That made me so happy. So I think I can go ahead and center this then. And I think I'm going to line it up here. So I'll do 1 inch and 1 inch maybe. That might not work. We'll have to bring it in a little. Okay, so we'll center it here. We won't line it up. But then I could bring this over here. And I don't want to hide too much of my pictures. I want to see the house. I want to see the dandelions here. But we could go like that, and I can either trim this so that it's not sticking out so far. Otherwise, I thought maybe we can just bring in some of these pieces then and kind of extend the circle. I don't know. Do something like that. We can add to it and just kind of build up. We could also add some more of these flowers in here to bring that orange over. So then I'm not sure if I need the orange up in these areas if we bring them into here. So that's where my thought process is. I'm going to go ahead and stamp taking the scenic route onto here using my Secret Sea ink, and I'll be right back. This layout came together better than I thought it would in my head. So I added some of these orange flowers. I did pop this up on 3D foam, or Stampin' Dimensionals, I believe is what they're called. Yeah, they're these. Okay, so I popped this up on Stampin' Dimensionals along with this, and then this one flower here. This one is flush. So I wanted to do this pattern all the way on the outside of the layout so that it would bring, I have so much of it over here, it would bring your eye all the way to the other side. And then same with the orange, I brought that into all of my clusters. This is more of that peach tone, which is in this as well. So I think it kind of ties in. I wanted that visual triangle over here. I love that we brought some of that greenery over to this side to kind of finish that off and bring in more greens. We could have done another matte since we have so much white, but I think it looks nice and clean, and since this side is so busy and has so many photos, I think it's nice that this side has a little more white space for your eye to rest. Let's bring these up a little closer here. Looking back at these photos makes me want to go back to the farm so bad. We have such a good time when we're there. You're going to see me scrapbooking more pictures. I have more from another time we went out there. And she just has the time of her life. I love that my dog is such a country girl. And it's just fun seeing the old buildings, like the house and the buildings. The flowers are still there. The flowers come up every year. We just hung out and read. But it's so nice that to document the buildings because they aren't in very good condition. So they're not going to be there for long. I am going to add more journaling here. I just didn't want to do that on camera. So I started it off as picnic at Grandpa's, and then I'm going to write about that, the little afternoon that we spent there. My husband, another picture of me reading, and my dog had to jump up and join me. And the other one I'm reading, this one, I know you can barely see her, but she was kind of guarding the house, like, yep, this is mine now. It was so cute. She loves it out there. And I love this picture. You can see the purple flowers peeking through here. I know it's such a small photo, but you can see the purple flowers and then the wagon wheels, and the grass is overgrown. Nobody was out there to mow yet. That is on our to-do list, but we have other plans this summer too, so we can't get out there and mow and tend to it like we want to. But it is so fun when we get to go spend an afternoon out there. Thanks for sticking around and spending a little time with me today. Sorry I haven't been posting my regular schedule, but hopefully I get back to that real soon. Until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye, guys.